Doing the agreement. We'll introduce our new website, jointheagreement.com. We'll welcome you all to the agreement with a handshake, and then go for question and answer, and then part ways. Sound good? Cool. So first of all, getting out of the way. Sorry if you can't hear me. Can everyone hear me back there? Okay. Yes. Sweet. First of all, what this talk is not. This talk isn't zero-day techniques. This isn't a whole new set of ways to break in. We're using existing ways. We're not assuming you know the latest attacks or the vectors or how to actually hack. We're not ranting like RenderMan does for why he hates the world. We're not talking about how to make cash from your friends. Yes, sorry, there's no profit. We were a little misleading in the title. And this is not also a step-by-step guide on how to pwn your friends. But what this talk really is a set of guidelines, on how to pen test your friends almost, to improve your personal security awareness, and to keep up to date on the latest offensive techniques. And through this, we'll show you a few lessons we learned through hacking each other, and we'll go over ideas on how to gain access in real-life systems, and bottom line, have fun. So we have full-time jobs that have to pay the bills, and thus we've been asked to include the following statement. The following statements, views, and opinions do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of our employers, and thusly in no form do these statements endorsed by said employers. Sweet. Moving on. Oh, I keep getting away from this mic. So who we are. Not going to go into too much about who we are. You can find more information on our website, hacks.by/mobile. Is that working again?
Yeah. Probably not. Is it?
Oh. Our DNS broke, so.
.by domains are so
otherwise, hacksbymobiledisco.com also works. So check us out there or come on by, talk to us afterwards. We're a bunch of security researchers per se in Chicago. We meet weekly for beer, burgers, hacks, fun. And, we're very academic. We share our knowledge, just not within our group, but, to others outside of the group, through forums, through public presentations, etc. And a bunch of things we're active in. But I'm Zach Fasel. My specialty is web app security, network security, system hardening, specifically in Linux. I'm a provisioning engineer by day for a managed security devices section of a company, and a security researcher by night. You can find me on pretty much anything at the name Z Fasel, so if you're interested afterwards, go ahead and stalk me. Favorite quote, we're all amateurs, it's just some of us are more professional about it than others.
I'm Matt Jakubowski. I like to do the Linux and OS security. I'm a manager at a web hosting company for a team of dedicated techs on servers. You can stalk me on Twitter or anything with Google. Hacks by Jacku will probably find me. My favorite quote would come from the great Master Shake, "I will not walk so a child may live." And that's about me.
Cool. So first of all, what is the agreement? From the description you saw in the Shmoocon pamphlet, didn't really give you too much information, just a little overview of what it was. Basically hacking friends, legal mumbo jumbo, rules, etc. But let's get more into that. How did the agreement all start? We needed a way to keep testing our friends. A lot of us were still in school, didn't have jobs in penetration testing, and academia doesn't really encourage pen testing as a part of your education. So we needed a way to actually pen test each other, keep our skills up to date to the latest vulnerabilities and latest exploits. And we needed to do so legally. We needed some new methods to try. We wanted to come up with new ways to get into systems and not just, be script kiddies about it. We wanted to encourage each other to harden our systems and not let them slide, stay up to date on the latest vulnerabilities and patches, and carry over our personal experience to the professional world. And through that, we wanted to train each other. Like I said, we're very academic based. We enjoy sharing this information, even though not all of us are in school. Just keep learning. And bottom line, we wanted to have fun. Keep our hacking skills up to date, but have fun. So bottom line, the solution was a gentleman's agreement. So what is a gentleman's agreement? For those of you who don't know, Wikipedia says it's an informal agreement between two or more parties. We typically do it, starting off with just a handshake. So the first agreement we've ever had was between Steve McGrath and Matt Jakubowski, two members of Chicago 2600, and it kind of got started off a little before Shmoocon last year. They shook hands, and the agreement started. And ever since then, we've kind of grown. We're up to about 30 members in the official agreement now, and we even have some famous faces as a part of the agreement. He had no idea what he just got himself into. So the agreement began. What was the purpose of this agreement between them? It was just a handshake, but we need to outline a few more things on that. It was to say we could hack each other. And, agree that you could also be hacked. Not just I'm going to hack you, but you're going to retaliate, obviously. That you have a set of rules as to how you can hack each other and what's in-game and what's out-of-game. That it's not to be vengeful. It's not to just gain access or have the most amount of hacks. It's to actually just have fun and learn. And it's to teach a lesson to each other about your lack of security in a way. Even though we're security professionals, we don't know everything about every little tidbit about security. And some of us are just learning and growing up in the security industry. So it's to teach each other, hey, I know a thing or two about, system hardening. Let me show you what was wrong with yours. And again, the point is to gain access, not to embarrass someone. We all know you can get what you can do after you get into a system. It's not to pull up their web history and say, oh, by the way, you enjoy the porn. So the original rules were quite simple, but they've evolved a lot. But the original rules were, 1, work systems are off limits. This is between the two of us or the group of us. This isn't between our employers. And most of us are sysadmins at our jobs.
Not off.
Ha.
I'm sorry, I did this like 2 a.m. last night. No. So, and no irreversible hacks. Finally, this is again to gain access. We all know you can be destructive. Let's not take and break shit. So no anti-forensics, no destroying files, etc. But the rules have evolved, and there's more. And we'll go on to that more as we talk about the attacks we've done to each other and how things have gone so far. So how do you actually initiate an attack? First of all, before you even do it, you want to make sure it doesn't break the rules you have in your agreement. You don't want to piss off your friend and have them, thusly try to piss you off. Then you got to gain access. Yeah, you can gain it physically. Sometimes that's the best security lesson is your physical security sucks. You can also do it remotely, which is obviously the more elite of the options. And then you got to leave your mark. Make sure that they know they've been hacked somehow. You can do that simply by saying, hacks by Zach, hacks by Jakku. Text file on the desktop on their website. You could randomly rickroll them, see what happens. Or you could leverage your system to gain access to more systems and leave the mark that way. And finally, bottom line, teach a lesson in security. You want to explain how you gain access and how to block that from happening again. And you could do so one-to-one, saying, oh, hey, let's just chat about this. Or you could give a public presentation about how you gained access to their system to teach everyone how that happened. So, like I said, it's evolved a lot. The agreement's grown. We've got about 30 members now. It's impossible to keep track who's officially in our agreement. And individual case scenarios started building up. We'll touch more on that in a little bit. And obviously, as hackers, we're all trying to stretch the rules, trying to find new loopholes in these rules we have with each other. And so we've kind of come across that a little bit. And you learn lessons from what's gone wrong the hard way. So we're going to share those lessons with you now. And Matt here is going to talk now about the first 3 hacks that were actually performed, and then I'll follow up with the last 2, I think. Yeah, 2.
And then I have a special one after yours.
Oh, great.
Can everybody hear me with this on, or is that good? Cool. So Steve's laptop at Shmoocon 2008. As we all know, well, what he looks like from previous pictures, that's Steve McGrath, security professional by day, hacked by night. He left his machine unlocked in his hotel room. I roomed with him. He was downstairs. Well, I'll get to that in a second. One of my favorite vulnerabilities is cron jobs. It's not really a vulnerability, but a lot of people don't check them for reoccurring hacks. So more on that in a minute. What did I just do? What did I do? There we go. Oh, all right. So I don't know who was here last year, but a lot of people were toying with the public terminals the first night of Shmoocon. That's what Steve was doing. He didn't set his screensaver to lock, and so what did I do? Well, all I could think of was a cron job. So I knew it would get caught quickly, or at least I thought so, because it would always email him, root at his machine name, and be like, hey, you got 10,000 emails. You missed.
We got all day.
All right, so it would send a lot of emails to him, and he didn't check his cron jobs. And so what did my cron exactly do? Well, I decided, most cron jobs will just do one task every so often. But I wanted to change it without having to change it manually. So his cron would execute. It would download a file from my server. And then it would execute that downloaded file. So that downloadable file would always be changing. It was just a shell script that I ran, and I would constantly change it to all sorts of things. I would have it rickroll them. I would have it say, "You've been hacked," over the Mac speakers, all sorts of things. His response, it just does that. Not a good response. When it does it for 2 months in a row, something's wrong. He had photos from Shmoo that we wanted, but he didn't share them yet, so I got them. Thanks for the badge, Steve. So after that, I'm like, well, what else can I do with this cron? Like, how often does he use the internet? He took a vacation in March, it seems, around the middle. He finally found out on the 2nd of April. So what did we learn in all this? What am I doing? Well, move the B key. So a rule everybody should know is never leave your laptop unattended at a HackerCon. It's pretty sure everybody in this room, if they didn't know it, they know it now. At least set your laptop at auto lock. It's a default setting. You have to go out of your way to disable that, so don't do it. If there's abnormal behavior, check it out. Don't just say it does that, because it doesn't just do that. So then, that was local privilege, or that was one thing. Then he made another mistake. About a month after he found the original cron job, we got him again. Again, same Mac. This time, unlocked machine again. ARD exploit. The Apple Remote Desktop exploit that was all huge in 2008. I don't know. This time, though, it occurred at a Chicago 2600 meeting. He walked away forgetting to lock his laptop again. He really does have a habit of this. We taught him a lesson. So first, I reinstalled the cron. But since I knew about the ARD exploit, I'm like, why not get root? So if you have that checked, you were safe till Apple patched it. He didn't have that checked. But something like that would then say root on the terminal. I could have it do anything I wanted. So it created a, thank you. It created a launch daemon that gave me access to his machine whenever I wanted, wherever I wanted, as root. So with that, so fact, Mac OS X has a large portion of open source code. Fact, it can be downloaded and recompiled. Fact, you can add a call on SSH security, post a copy of the login credentials to a remote server. Fact, we have root. So this is what it would do. You got Steve's Mac there. Let's replace that with Jacko SSH. All right, so Steve's going to log into a server. So let's securely send it to me, because we don't want him to get owned again by someone else. And then if you forget your password, just ask me. So what did Steve learn this time? Never leave your laptop unattended. Stay up to date on all latest vulnerabilities, even if it's local, because you never know who's around, especially if I'm there. Check your cron jobs. It's not hard. All right, so those two were against Steve, and for the third one, I like to mess around with proxies and Squid and stuff, and me and Rick have a long history of being online. So I decided, well, what do I do with this? If I take Squid and I take Rick, what can I make with it? So I made a proxy for some friends at a AnimeCon. I knew that various members who were part of the agreement would be at this con, and that they would want internet. So I got there before them and set up my own wireless access points. I knew they would trust them, because who doesn't trust free internet? So Rick via squad. Picture of the antenna and the phone routers. Good stuff. So as I said, many people were there that were part of the agreement. And expensive internet hotel plus numerous people, or overpriced internet, exactly. So Faku, who is right there, same name as me, we call him Faku, he bought internet. Thank you, Faku. And with 2 FON routers, I decided to grab it and rebroadcast it on free internet. Well, this is an example of the network setup. There's my laptop with the switch and a router connecting to the other router. Let's add my second router. And end users. You gotta love the end users. So when people are online, they usually request a file, and it'll go through the router, go through a switch, go to the internet. But instead of going straight to the internet, let's go to my laptop first. Then go back to the router, then to the internet. From the internet's like, hey, I got a request for you. All right, send it to the router. Let's send it back to me. Now, I could read it, or I could add some spice to it. Yeah. That will do nicely. So let's send that back to the end users. So we were nice. We knew that not everybody that was part of the agreement would be on the internet, so we gave some warnings, like changing every single title of the website to internet provided by Mobile Disco. Free because we love you, but free comes at a price. You'd think most people are like, that's kind of weird. I shouldn't use this. Well, that didn't work. And so some files were replaced, like GIFs turned into the regular GIF with brick at the end. Then I replaced some text files and some flash files and torrents and AVIs, just because people were downloading all these files, and I'm like, well, let's put Rick in there. And they kept doing it, and so I had to extend even more formats. There was a point where I'm on the floor, and people were like, don't use the internet. I downloaded a zip file, and it was a picture of Rick all over the place. I'm like, shouldn't be using that internet then. Unfortunately, though, we weren't asked to do the internet here this year. So what did we learn this time? Well, use trusted encryption whenever on open Wi-Fi points. Most of the people there that were part of the agreement didn't. And as we could tell, a lot of people just there didn't. So never trust the content you download on free internet. I mean, we should all know that, but not everybody does. We could have done a lot worse than Rick. All sorts of things come to mind, but I'll let you use your imaginations. When you name your access point free internet, people connect to it. A lot of people. I had to increase the DHCP tables and all sorts of client connects and all sorts of stuff. And then finally, we learned that Rickrolling isn't funny anymore. Okay, I lied. It's still pretty funny. So now I'm going to hand it back to Zach, and he's going to go through 2 more, and then I'll go for my 4th hack.
Great, and I know it's me.
Oh.
I saw him last night working on something in beds, and they're like, and the minute I walk by, Alt-Tab.
I don't have Alt-Tab.
Sorry, Apple-Tab.
There you go.
So, next hack was, well, let's talk about what the agreement is. First of all, half of the agreement is about gaining access, breaking in, leaving your mark, and teaching them about it. Well, there's another half of it we really haven't talked about, mind hacks, social engineering, etc. And, well, the bottom line is knowing is half the battle. So this time, good friend of mine and roommate, Chris Lytle,
Stand up.
seemed to have a target of his mind and, well, subsequently his passwords. And the vulnerability was Firefox stored passwords. And 3 clicks and mind hacks was all it took. Now, this was a lame hack. Bottom line, a lame hack. So Chris continuously left his computer locked. Notice a pattern here. Like I said, physical, yes, it's a lame hack, but we got to teach the lesson still nonetheless. And, well, his passwords were stored in Firefox with no master password. I mean, I've slipped on it before, and I caught myself and I fixed it. So this is a really lame vulnerability and hack, but let's make it a little bit more. Let's have a little fun. Let's do some mind hacking. So what do I mean by mind hacking? Let's reveal this hack and hype it up to be this grandiose hack so he feels like he got royally hacked. Like he deserved to get hacked. You know, it was a good hack. and let's reveal his real issue. So, typical to our presentation scheme, we gave a presentation at Chicago 2600 over what we did to him. You know, we gave this, actually I had Jack give the presentation, so he thought it was this big grandiose hack that, you know, Jack came to my Halloween costume party, was bored, snuck in the bathroom with his iPhone, ran Nmap to scan my network over my open wireless AP, ran Metasploit on the iPhone. By the way, all these things are possible. They're legitimate things that could have happened, but they didn't. And then we also came with this grandiose thing on how he got his passwords, about how Jack redirected all his network traffic to his own router, then SSL certs. What about SSL? Well, we installed our own client CA cert. Again, all possible things. Create this whole grandiose fake hack. But in the end, it wasn't true, and we revealed, hey, listen, it's your Firefox stored passwords. Kind of gave him that shock and awe of, you know, oh, I feel like I did it rightly, but, you know, it's kind of a lame hack. So what did we learn, though? First of all, we learned, yeah, don't store your passwords unsecurely. Don't use dictionary words for passwords. Expect a revenge hack if you get someone in a lame way. And sometimes hacks don't always go the way you plan. And, you know, we'll talk more on this later about how, you know, things we learned. But, you know, especially if it's a lame hack, expect just as lame as a hack in reverse. And finally, even security experts make mistakes. I mean, we've been over this a few times, but the best of us can get hacked by each other. So Jacku found out about this one a little while ago. Jacku recently got owned, as in this week.
But, you know,
now I was going to surprise him like he's about to surprise me. Allegedly. I don't know who he's going to surprise, but I'm pretty much assuming me. Because I got him, obviously. Retaliation, like I said. So I sent him a copy of these slides to add in and modify the stuff. And I accidentally left this slide in there. Taking down Jacku. Crap. So he decided to add his own little spice. Not going to happen. Didn't happen. Won't happen. Ha 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 ha. Psst. There's more. So, we like we've said, we had a lot of physical attacks. And, you know, except for the Rickroll proxy, which, you know, a lot of people had to come to us for. So we wanted to take and create, or I wanted to create, a hack that really was a blended threat to take and show the possibility of this stuff. So we took CSRF, cross-site request forgery, SSH, cron jobs, DNS, TCP dump, default password, the iPhone, I love using buzzwords, and social engineering, which leads to CSRF, SSH, which just translates to epic hacks. So obviously the target is Matt Jakubowski. His router, his iPhone, and everything else on his network is the target, and there's multiple vulnerabilities, multiple attack payloads. So I'm going to go over how, you know, I really did this hack from ground one since it's so recent, and Matt found out about this Thursday when we were getting on the plane. So first step is to prepare the hack. What you need to do is, you know, sit down, brainstorm, think about it, and come up with how to take and perform the hack. Many hours were spent testing on DDWRT to figure out how we could actually do this. Step 2 is to social engineer Jacku to do what you want him to do. It's as easy as asking him, hey, could you do me a favor and take a look at something for me? So this is a little quick IM chat, and you'll be able to see it when we post the slides of me saying, oh, hey, can you check out this web page? I can't get my wireless to work on my DDWRT, and can you help me take a look at your settings? It's kind of weird. Someone who's using a Cisco AeroNet asking for help with a DDWRT wireless access point. Something's a little odd, but nonetheless, say, oh yeah, sure, I'll help out. A friend took a look at it. And then I linked him to a photo of mine that had a fake screenshot of what was going on. So that's what ended up happening is, step 3 is give Jacku a cross-site request forgery. So now Jacku's logged into his router. He's taking a look at the settings, and obviously he hasn't closed his windows all the way because we're still talking, we're in open dialogue, and he's surfing in the background. So I sent him a little link saying, hey Jacku, check out ZachFasel.com/photo. Oh, sure. So he went to my server, grabbed a file, and pulled the file on down. And it was just this, I'll show you the photo on the website, and then it posted to his router with the thing. So this is a photo of my website that shows the actual payload we used to hack them. And then it looks like just a normal website with photos. In the bottom, you'll see transferring file from ZachFasel.com. But in the background, there were hidden iframes that were doing posts. For those of you who aren't familiar with cross-site request forgeries, is basically when you view a page, it does something on the client side to execute. So inside that payload was, or those iframes, was a forum post to automatically post, adding in, hey, download this file and run it on the router. And inside there, basically, added my SSH keys to remote back into his router, enabled SSH remotely, and rebooted his router. So now I've got access to his router. What's the first thing I should do? Maybe I should dump all his traffic over an SSH tunnel, just to see what he was doing. So whenever Jacku made a request to the web, whatever it may be, I got a copy, and the internet got a copy. And the same thing in return. So we're able to take and see all his traffic. We're able to see all his web browsing activity, grab all his cookies for his websites, etc. But you know what? That's not enough for me. I want to see, now that I'm in his network, what else can I get? Because I could go ahead and post a tweet saying, oh, hacks by Zach, gotcha good, ha ha ha. Let's have a little more fun. So, sitting on his network also was an iPhone and an Apple TV. We've got access to his router. So why not take and try to SSH to his phone? And why not take an SSH to his TV? Now, the iPhone, if you jailbreak it and you install SSH, it installs the SSH server along with the client. It's a package that's from the Cydia libraries, I believe. But nonetheless, so if you don't change the password, kind of know the default password of the iPhone. So you're able to log in with that. And the same thing with Front Row. If you hack Front Row on the Apple TV, you've got the default password. So Jacku jailbroke his iPhone, but forgot to change the password and had SSH on there. So we're able to take an SSH in there. Funny thing about the iPhone, when you plug it into charge at night, it actually doesn't shut the radio off for the Wi-Fi even though the screen's off. And up to 30 seconds after you turn the phone on just to check the time, the Wi-Fi kicks on and stays on. So you get that little 30-second window. But overnight when he plugs it in, you've got all night long to have a little fun. So after you're into all this stuff, you've got his router, you got his phone, got his Apple TV, what should you do to keep your connections? So our typical favorite, you install a hidden SSH public key way down at the bottom of the file so you can get back in. You don't need to know his password. You can change his password, but you can still get back in because your SSH key is hidden very low down. You can install some fun iPhone applications, including which would include tweeting as well. I'll touch on that in a second. Keeping his phone from ever turning off at all. It's funny. All you have to do is message a guy who developed this application called Insomnia that keeps the iPhone from actually going to sleep by intercepting the whole go to sleep messages and just dumps them. All you have to do is send him a little email and a few bucks for beer money, and he'll send you a command line version of it real fast. So I kept Jacku's iPhone awake for a while, as long as I wanted, to keep my SSH session up. And, you know, a few other applications, which we'll touch on the fun we could have had with that. You know, there was, oh my gosh, Erica's utilities, which are a bunch of command line utilities to, you know, change all the badges. So we ran out of time to actually do a lot of these hacks because obviously it was last week and work interferes with a lot of things when you go on vacation. So we weren't able to do a lot of the stuff, or I wasn't able to do a lot of the stuff, but could have had a lot of fun changing all the badges to say hacks, 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 hacks. That's a real eye-opener when you look at the phone. You can install launch daemons. Again, one of our favorites in our group is installing a hidden cron job or a hidden launch daemon. So good old cron jobs came to our rescue and set up a nice little launch daemon to run every 15 seconds. SSH to my server, grab the files in this directory, run the files, do whatever I tell you to do, and then when you're done, delete them. Never there. So if you ever need to get back into his phone and he's behind some kind of private network, just do a reverse SSH and you're in. And finally, you can set up a nice little service called Locate Jacku. Twitter.com/LocateJacku tweeted his location every 2 minutes. That was fun. And we could have done more. I mean, these are just those little marks you leave. I mean, we know once you're in the phone, you could take and dump, you know, all the call logs. You could change the photos, dump the photos. Oh, wait, we did. This is a photo off his iPhone, and it was on his Flickr account I found out afterwards, so it kind of was like, oh, that's kind of lame.
I also already locate myself on my website.
Yeah, you do. But this was fun. So leave your mark on Jacku's router. You could redirect all his traffic to another proxy, whether it be, you know, HTTP, SMTP, any traffic you could redirect to another proxy. But this kind of failed. Again, last-minute hacks don't really work out well. You want to plan these out and do them over a long run if you really want to teach them a lesson. So basically, it turns out he's been very busy at work. He was recently promoted, and he's on his work's VPN pretty much 24/7. Didn't used to be, but now that he's been working a lot more, he's on his VPN all the time. So proxying his traffic doesn't really work over, a nice VPN. So he knew how to secure himself a little bit there. But then we tried to cancel his VPN tunnel by blocking all his VPN traffic, and he just learned to reboot the router every once in a while, or jump on another wireless access point nearby and use that for VPN. So it kind of failed to redirect him to his own Rickroll proxy. So for Jacku's iPhone, you did download all his pictures, and we could have, but ran out of time because I didn't have enough time to actually make the music, change his ringtone to singing Hacks by Zach to the tune of Eye of the Tiger or The Final Countdown. That'll get your attention. And finally, you could create fake text message histories to him. So he just would start responding to random text messages saying, "Why did you just say that? What do you mean, why did you just say that?" Ran out of time, wanted to do that, so it was that weird, awkward conversation the next day of, "But you said this." Ran out of time. But what did we learn about this, and what am I going to learn next?
Oh boy. What are you going to learn?
Not to set my password like that. Research what services use default passwords and change them. Like I said, even though we knew for the iPhone and all, you don't always know what services are activated and what passwords are default on them. Never trust JavaScript for cross-site request forwarding. Use Firefox. Use NoScript. And through testing, I found out Jacku likes Safari.
Safari's the greatest.
Safari is nice. As you can tell, we love Apple. Macs or whatever you want to call them. Never trust JavaScript. You can always embed some nasty stuff, and there's plugins to protect against that. After you gain access to one system, you can leverage it against a lot more. And if somebody asks you something really weird, like, "Can you help me configure my router even though you know networking?" Probably because I'm trying to hack you. And if you're the one hacking everyone else, eventually you're going to be taken down like... Now. Do you want to get?
Yeah, I'd like to do mine right now. Yeah,
Great.
yeah. Or do mine real quick.
I'm just going to leave. I don't want to know.
Let's see here. How do I do the RM-RF? Where is it? Oh, that doesn't matter.
Don't tell me it's that cron job you had hidden there.
Oh, cron job? Oh, much more than that. So...
Way to steal my slides, too. Come on.
So, there's one more thing, Zach.
Yeah.
So, as you know, it starts with a handshake. Does that private key look familiar?
Oh, yeah, on my server? Yeah.
Oh, Trust of Home Network. Attack payload, launch daemons. So your Mac likes to do updates.
Yeah, it does. It's been phoning home anyways.
Zach, Max, Jack and that, Jack and Sir. Oh, okay, good. So your Mac goes to update some software, downloads the update. And you run it and you type your password.
Oh.
Your DNS is not secure. Don't always expect updates to be safe. So what did I do? I added in a backdoor and I played the waiting game. Time to watch what he does. Oh yeah, I knew what you were doing. Jacku SSH makes a return to gain some passwords. Root password is achieved. Zach, did you know? I don't think so. What's this right here? Watch this one. Zach. Oh. Now I'm nice. I'm not going to put the entire thing.
That's the password to the server.
Oh, I know. Oh. He will get that.
Yeah, no,
So.
I get it.
And my next target. Did you really think when I noticed my router rebooted, I didn't go and check?
Yeah, I know you did. And you know, I was trying to be nice to give him a heads up so I didn't surprise him.
Well, the thing is, I didn't know you were going to present on this.
So you did.
I wasn't going to present this till you did that.
Oh.
I had to make this in 2
what?
days. Congratulations.
I saw you working on it last night.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why I kept. Yeah, never mind. This is how we have our agreement. We actually give these presentations.
Oh, check your phone.
Oh, fuck. Did you do all the things I was going to do but didn't?
No, check terminal.
Check SSH.
Oh, it's.
Oh, it's dead. Wasn't me.
Oh, did you change the SSH on there too?
No. I had access for months.
I think you need to add a version tag when you do SSH-V. It's like you've been hacked by Jagged. Yeah.
I had access for months, man. I just never did anything.
Yeah.
I just like watching.
I've been meaning to reformat this. Friggin' voyeur. So, what did we learn from myself and from others? Oh, we already went over this. Sorry.
Never trust JavaScript. Oh, wait.
Hold on.
That's the website. Shh.
Now my brute forces on my server are going to go up like tenfold because of you.
They only know the first part. $50 gets you the rest.
So how about today? Rules have grown and unique ones have been added. You know, we've added some things like if the password is hacks, like on this box.
Now.
Whatever, it's cool. It's a generic account for others to use because, you know, we're still friends in the end. You know, we want to be able to have it so we can share each other's resources and somewhat trust each other. Physically stealing the box does not count.
But it should.
But it should. So we learned that people like to run up, grab your laptop, run away yelling hacks. Read.
Oh.
Doesn't count. And that's why we had to add it. Roommates sharing a network can attack or sniff each other. I mean, it's a shared trusted network. Going against each other would be kind of lame. And we started including some hybrid machines of, you know, some of us are also, you know, having our own jobs on the side, our own businesses. So kind of this, we don't want to be like, oh, I've got all work stuff, but I'm in the agreement. No, I mean, this is about having fun. So make some things personal. And so, you know, if we all have work machines, make it a little half personal, half work, and define what's off limits for work. And new rules are being discussed. You know, a points-based system to go about how difficult the hack was. Remote exploit with no interactions the most, and local exploit with all you doing the interaction is, you know, the least. I mean, like the countdown to 0 kind of point policy. Start with remote, then remote with user interaction, then full local. You know, and how to properly dispute a hack, you know, that you felt was unfair or against the rules. Well, there's no such thing as unfair in security. And share networks between members and non-members, such as Jacku's router, where he has, you know, people who aren't a part of our agreement on his network living with him. You know, is the router fair game?
Yes, they don't use VPN. I do.
Yeah.
Go after them.
But yeah, stuff like that. You know, are things like that fair game? And we've been discussing a lot of this, and we're always open for, you know, your input, and that's why we've got the website coming up in a minute. And we've started coming up with a legal document to protect ourselves and more of you as we get more involved. As to saying, here are the rules, here's what you're agreeing to, and you give authorization for us to gain access, period. In your default penetration testing, here's my, you know, little get out of jail free card. So you say legal? It's to give written authorization for someone to have, you know, full access to all your accounts that maybe belong to you. You know, the rules that are outlined, the systems that are fair game, because not everything can be fair game sometimes. Sometimes things are work related, and declaring that, hey, this is off limits, this is my work, don't go after it. You know, dispute procedures for people who are outside of the agreement to say, listen, this was against the rules, etc. And included in that is going to be mandatory binding arbitration. A big legal mumbo-jumbo word for saying you give up your rights for someone else to decide what's going on. And we're talking about just for penetration testing. We're not saying you give up all your rights, but just for the hack that occurred, you give up your rights to sue them because you agreed to be hacked.
Or sue you.
Wow, no schmooballs. And how to leave the agreement. So in the end, after all is said and done, what have we learned? Security professionals can always forget a hole. I mean, I had a hole. I didn't think I was on top. I knew I had holes. And one hole is one too many. We can see how just getting into the router was able to leverage access to the rest of the network. And we're busy and we let things slide. I didn't always patch, or I didn't always check for stuff. Excuse me. And we let our personal security dwindle because of, our work is always getting in the way. When we get home, we don't always want to harden things. And come on, how many times have you just said, oh yeah, that Windows update or that OS X update requires a reboot? I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. So I forgot to update this for about 2 months for OS X 10.5.5. I admit it, I was hackable. Yeah. So, I even let it slide. It was like, oh, I got to reboot this, and I'll do it later, sleep. People retaliate when they get hacked, and it can get ugly. So, in a retaliation to, my lame physical hack, it was lame. Try to lame hack it back with live CD, and, things didn't go according to plan, and the data was lost. It wasn't intentional, but the hard drive was destroyed. The master boot record was deleted. Try to recover it, didn't work, but you know what? No hard feelings. All is well now with what's happened, and things can go wrong. And things can quickly turn into a war game if you're not careful. You don't maintain that delicate balance of, listen, we are friends. This isn't just about, how many points we all have. This is about having fun, about pen testing each other. People become paranoid. Sometimes too paranoid to, kind of make those friendships get very fragile. And that's something you got to keep in careful check when you do this, is not to, try to overscare someone. Because, we always hint to each other, that jokingly, oh yeah, so I saw what you're doing online last night. Might want to watch
emailing
that.
your passwords.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So no, don't worry about that. I can log into that for you. Oh, you forgot your password to that. I got it for you. We joke about that all the time, but you become paranoid about all the security, which you should be about security. But sometimes you want to be careful that it doesn't become, too much to get in the way of your friendship. Oh, I lost my timer because you canceled my presentation.
Dude, look at the time.
We got 5 minutes. Cool. And the agreement becomes, a great force to keep yourself protected. And it's just that constant paranoia keeps you going, uh-oh, is he coming after me? I got to patch. Oh, no, is he coming after me? I got to harden this. I got to set up another wireless network for guest access. Or 6 wireless networks for other access levels. Yeah. So what we needed in the end was a way to track, who's really in the agreement. Because we've shaken a lot of hands. As you saw earlier, we were walking around shaking people, welcoming them to the agreement. And people are like, what, the agreement? What's that? And you kind of explain, come to my talk, or you'll see in a minute. And people don't really know what they're getting themselves into. So we need a way for them to attract that they're officially in there, that they've agreed to the rules and the legal part of it. What all the rules are, some are kind of developed on the side, and it's no set standard, and sometimes it takes a little time to get actually enforced, of saying, okay, the hacks rule we have for guest terminals. For a while, some people didn't know about it. Who's got special rules? Now, as a group as a whole, we may have, these group rules, but down to, individual, between me and you, might be smaller as, oh, you're new in the agreement, you don't know as much, you're new to security. You know what, let's keep the lame physical attacks off limits, and we'll do only, remote ones that, are like that, or setting different levels like that. And, like I said, who's in what agreement and with who. And finally, we need some way to actually spread this agreement. Make more people start creating their own agreements, start saying, hey, let's get an agreement to pen test each other. Let's have fun in our spare time. So we set up this website called jointheagreement.com. And when I mean set it up, we've got a website template and a domain name. We planned on having everything else coded, but things didn't go according to plan. Our work lives got interfered with stuff, and we've had personal issues interfere with ourselves too. So we're setting up the website right now. Oh wait, I didn't set the cron job to do that. In 5 minutes, it's going to take and have a registration page on there where you can leave us your email. As soon as it's up and working and actually pen tested to make sure, because obviously you're going to pen test us by joining the agreement, you're a part of our agreement. We'll have it up and ready so you can at least register and say, hey, let me know when this is going. Leave me your email. And that's all we're going to do, is we're going to send you one email saying the site's up, come and register if you want. We're not going to auto-register. You don't automatically agree to the agreement, that kind of stuff. Or do you?
17.
There's going to be a few. No, take a look at my source. It's very clean. I do everything just straight by command line. I don't use any WYSIWYG editors. So go around, shake some hands, invite people to the agreement. Tell them jointheagreement.com. There's a quick little introduction to what it is, very short, very brief. And tell them, register, leave your email, and go ahead and start spreading the word about it with your friends. This is all about developing those friendships. And again, pen testing is something that's legal if you don't have a job in penetration testing and security. Questions, opinions? We'll open this up for discussion, yes.
Do you have anything concerning how the ISPs may react to you guys testing their networks?
Well, the things we've been doing so far haven't been too bad for that. And, we've talked to a lot of ISPs, and pretty much their option is, for providing you internet. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. We're not going after the ISPs. You're going after the
we're
individual
going after the end
people,
users. I mean, this is
and
not.
they really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, the ISPs themselves, we talked to a lot, and it's one of those things that they see millions a day from, different countries that are attacking and just generic default hacks. But going after servers, I mean, in the end, you're agreeing to be pen tested. So it's then the end user's responsibility to go, listen, no, it's cool. He got me, ha ha ha. I saw a hand up.
That may not be true for all ISPs.
Oh, yeah, not all
not all.
ISPs. Well, I mean,
And how are you going to verify that the people who joined the agreement are actually the agreement? If you could also have someone represent a location that is not their actual name.
again, yeah, that's something we're also talking about a lot about. It's more or less, when you take it, you're creating it with groups of friends. We're not really making this as a wide, I'm hacking Jordan over in
Spain.
Thank you, Spain, good country. I'm hacking Jordan over Spain. I've never met, don't even know him. No, we're making this really, for your friends, for your buddies, for people you meet at the cons, and say, hey, let's have a little pen test off. We have talked about different options. We were thinking about setting up you're gonna laugh at this. We thought about setting up an agent to install on the computers, and then we realized no one's going to trust that agent.
It's already installed.
And Jackie was going to code it, and then we were like, no, that's not happening. So we've been looking at options. We've been thinking of different scripting options for it to actually phone home with a unique ID key that says, listen, I already have access to the box. This box is phoned back from this IP. Here's your unique computer ID. We've been talking a lot about this. It's something as this website develops more, we're looking to expand that more.
I'm only asking that question because if you're familiar with the game that's run on Fortnite,
No, not.
the National ISP in Korea has a hacking game that they use for intelligence gathering. But you can play it from here, and it's fine. They don't have a problem with the ISPs here, but you also go to some other places, and they have a problem with you accessing the Fortnite from outside of Korea.
I gotcha. Yeah, right now we're looking to keep it right. We're starting right now with like U.S. and eventually, hopefully we can make it national because especially for the legal side, there's all the international laws and all that fun jazz with that. I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to pay big bucks for a lawyer for something that's fun on the side, just something that's enough for in a U.S. court to be like, hey, here's my get out of jail free card. So yeah, we're definitely looking for long run for that kind of stuff. Stop by and see me afterwards. I'm interested in that. Cool. Yes.
How much confidence do you have on actually having a lawyer to look at it that would actually protect people if somebody got bit or anybody in the police or sued or something like that?
I'm sorry. Say that. Well, in the legal document,
Lawyer verify the agreement, how much
we're working. We've talked to a lawyer who right now his specialization's in e-discovery, and we're asking him, hey, do you have someone else who can work more on that kind of stuff? We were going to bounce it to the EFF when we're done, and our personal lawyers too. Again, we're still drafting it up enough that it's so they don't have to take and bill us for like 50 man hours of coming up with this agreement, and to make it unique to us. When we put it out there, we're confident enough that it's its default template. It's very explicit of saying this. Nothing's implied at all through it. Any other questions? Cool. Thanks for coming by, and welcome to the agreement. I paid
10 minutes, we'll have security and usability.
Oh, I love Keynote.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thanks.
Okay, I gotta move those files first. God damn you, Jakku.
Oh, Zachary.
So wait,
We wouldn't have had enough time if I didn't do that.
I know.
All right.
Hold on.
You missed the last lawyer.
Yeah, I know.
Last presentation. Why didn't you guys have a panel?
Yeah. We didn't mean to, and we're gonna pretty much when we're done with this, we're gonna shoot out to a bunch of mailing lists saying if you're board certified legal, not just oh yeah, I'm going through school.